Alright, I'm Grey Hunter, and welcome to Rogue State Revolution. I've just had to sit here for a few minutes while they played the national anthem, but yeah, what do you do? So, let's get into this. Leader's surname. Alright. Yeah, we'll leave all that alone. We'll whack the subtitles on, just in case. General Scar, Advisor helps. Leave everything else on, like that. Alright, Basenji. We're now the leader of a rogue state. Several members of the rogue family forced into exile, monarchy disbanded, the nation was renamed People's Republic of Basenji. Refugee Council, that's too quick for me. Yeah, you get the idea, we've taken over.
In Basenji today, there is a mood of jubilation as thousands crowd the streets in celebration. The first ever democratic election in the People's Republic of Basenji is a success. 5 years ago, the monarchy was replaced by a transitional government. And now, finally, after great struggle, democracy has come to Basenji. For the first time in their turbulent history, both Basenji and ethnic Karifi are voting for a government of their choice. 12 political parties campaigned, representing a wide political spectrum, with the largest, the Basenji Nationalist Party, sweeping the election with 72% of the vote.
Good morning, Your Excellency. My name is Sabriya. I have been assigned as your political strategist.
And I am Yusuf. I will be serving as your military attaché.
The first task before you is to appoint cabinet roles for representatives from across our great nation.
These are critical positions. Once appointed, cabinet members are constitutionally protected. They cannot be removed from office.
Indeed, you will be stuck with these ministers, for better or worse. I would advise you listen to their needs.
And I say look for loyalty. There will be hard days ahead. We will need a cabinet that is on our side, no matter what.
So we got FMBs, and yeah, apparently good cop, bad cop. Alright, there's a appointed cabinet. Alright. He's frugal, construction cost lowers. 3 favour points, but he's cunning. Alter his policies without consent. Pious, but tactless. Inspiring, but poor health. Resourceful, but a moron. Well, we're not putting a moron in, are we? Yeah, but I don't know much about this. I just set the center key. And yeah, I'm going through this blind. Right, popular but selfish. Focus but an addict. Maverick. Alright. Well, he's one of the minorities. Looks like he can only own the Ministry of Finance. Yeah, let's put him in charge. There we go. Right, the frugal guy for the Minister of Development. Not liking the pious one, don't want the moron. Zero costs. But she will vaguely disappear. Let's not put the guy who's like selfish in charge of the military. That would probably be a bad idea. Let's select the inspiring and poor health guy, because you know he's most likely to die. Alright. So, this is the map. This is Basenji. Move Chicken Stand at the bottom, and Jan at the top, and Forest Tower there. Assume this is the major populations. Right, most actions was a single action point. The number of action points in the ministers are cabinet. There are 4 ministers. Yep, alright. Not receiving fuel shipments in 3 weeks. Getting roads made unusable during Civil War. A new road. Oil will automatically be transported from the refinery to the power plant. Electricity will be restored with energy. Building roads costs 1 action point. Treasury funds.
Both the power plant and the oil refinery.
Alright, so demolish, overpressurize. I have to start with the road. There we go. If I can build roads, there we go. Just being blind. I need to do something similar like that. There we go. Upgrade and bulldoze. Let the upgrade. Let's upgrade those because that's a very important job. I'm not sure if he's supposed to be talking. I can hear something in the background. Let's just go to settings, let's turn the speech. Massive.
You can also rotate the map by clicking the rotation buttons.
Oh, okay, here we go. Let's just adjust the settings here then. That music is massively overpowering.
Excellency.
Finally, these buttons will immediately pan the camera to buildings of specific importance. Resource producers, power plants, and buildings that allow units to be recruited. That sort of thing. After the Civil War, the United Nations established aid camps to distribute food rations to our people. We must start to produce our own food and not rely on the UN. Constructing agricultural fields allows us to produce our own food for our people and have a new source of revenue to grow our treasury. Agricultural fields can only be placed on green terrain. From the right sidebar, click Construction. From there, choose the agricultural field. We will need to ensure that there is a working population available wherever.
Alright, so working population.
As food supply increases, you can dismantle UN camp. I would suggest doing this only once every few months, because removing UN aid workers will come with a severe penalty for diplomatic influence.
Okay.
For now, though, I think we can weather it. Click on a UN camp and dismantle it now.
And dismantle. Bye-bye.
We could spend funds and an action point to build a second agricultural field to support the anticipated growth in our city's demands next month. Alternatively, we could address the health crisis currently facing the province of Sabah. Constructing a regional hospital adjacent to a city somewhere in this province would provide immediate care for those wounded during the Basenji Civil War. The choice is yours. Future-proof your economy and construct another agricultural field, or build a regional hospital adjacent to a city somewhere in the province of Sabah to care for our wounded.
Let's go for the hospital, shall we?
Well done, Excellency. Thank you for putting your faith in me. You may have noticed that buildings consume both workers and power. Getting more power is a question of building more power plants. Getting more workers, however, is a much bigger problem. For now, it is prudent to spread your buildings out between your provinces, so you don't end up with a worker shortage.
But yeah, workers, approval.
Excellency, our economy is pretty stagnant right now, which will limit our opportunities to better this great nation. I have a plan, however, that will give us a little extra boost. Let's review our national budget.
We're going to tax everyone, aren't we? National budget. Review budget. There we
A
go.
lot of things outside of our control can affect Basenji's monthly revenue. City growth, immigration, the price of commodities, our transportation infrastructure. So what you're looking at is our experts' best estimates based on a snapshot of the country as it stands today. We may need to consider a few temporary provincial funding cuts until we get our economy jump-started. I'll leave it to you to decide where, but ultimately, I propose you cut just enough to establish a positive cash flow.
Alright, so this is where the meat of the game's going to be, I guess. Trying to keep people happy without... Okay, I only need to make... Alright, who's got the most approval of Curry Laronji? And then we want a positive, so we've got conservation unfortunately going to go down.
Because we have a Minister of Finance, we also have the option of taking out loans in the forms of bonds or an IBRD loan. The interest repayment terms for these are not kind, so I wouldn't suggest doing this unless we were in a real emergency.
Alright.
Very good. I've got some more ideas on how we can increase our national treasury.
Right, so we've used all our actions for the month. It is no date. Oh yeah. It's kind of unique, this one.
Excellency, Zabria, apologies for the interruption. Our military is in a state of disrepair, and I must insist we address that sooner rather than later. Construct an army base, Excellency. This will be where all our military units are produced.
Construction. Army base. What's beneath? Beneath is here, so construction. We'll put our army base in there.
Yusuf, the local news is reporting something difficult to believe. An industrious shepherd appears to have hybridized a bunch of old cars to produce an armored bipedal tank.
I may have made a big mistake.
Why would anyone do that?
Because it's awesome?
And yeah.
Although, this is probably also a threat to our national security. Thankfully, we can use that army base to recruit some new troops and send them to disable it. We will need to train a military unit. All units have a role to play in combat, and it is for you to decide which unit to train. I would, however, suggest that you not train the sand truck. It cannot attack ground-based units, including whatever that thing is. Order our troops to disable the civilian bypass.
Excellency! Excellency!
Oops. Boom. There we go. The max down.
Outstanding. We have pulled the very frightened shepherd from the wreckage. Hopefully his insurance covers all the damage he caused.
Right. Well, Excellency, this seems as good a time as any to introduce your ministries. This is where you set all the policies specific to our nation. Click on the Ministry of Finance for now. Setting our tax policy to regressive will increase our tax base if our people's prosperity is low. Our nation's liberals will absolutely hate this move, but maybe we can win back their trust in other ways. Set our tax policy to regressive now. Good. Let's check in now with the Ministry of Defense. We may need to consider a few temporary provincial funding cuts until we get our economy jump-started. I'll leave it to you to decide where, but ultimately, I propose you cut just enough to establish a positive cash flow.
The minister is of the view that we might be able to learn something from this bizarre incident with the armored walking vehicle.
You can choose which policy opportunities a minister is going to research by clicking on it. Choose a policy opportunity for the Minister of Defense to research now. You can even choose that silly bipedal walking tank if it means that much to you, but we'll probably need a lot of cash in a secret facility if you plan on going down that road.
Alright, so they've had kind of dodgy ground with this one, but obviously they're not getting serious. Alright, what do we want? Anti-tank missiles sound like they'd be very useful. There's been benefits there.
Ministers who are not given research priorities will create their own based on their personal interests. In fact, particularly belligerent ministers may do their own thing, regardless of what you say.
That's exactly what you want to hear from
Suggest
somebody.
policy opportunities for the remaining 3 ministers to research now.
Natural resources. Go for solar power. Right, I'm going to annoy the Conservatives. We'll go for a boss slate. Yes, we're not going that way. So it looks like you can go good or bad on this. Yeah, which is kind of what you want to do in most management games. State investment.
Great. Research will be conducted faster when the minister has a great deal of respect for you. Unhappy ministers may not do any research at all. We should create a surveyor unit to scout for new resources. Resources will eventually make it possible for us to sell more complex products for our cities. But for now, we can export these raw materials to a neighbor if the demand exists. See the buttons in the sidebar? You can click on them to quickly pan the camera to a specific building. Click on the palace at Majimura by either finding it on the map or clicking on the palace fast access button in the sidebar. From there, train a surveyor.
Excellency,
Alright. Like he can't do anything this one, unless I...
very well.
Oh, yep, now I can send you straight out.
Excellency, very well. Excellency,
The action points in that, alright.
Click on the surveyor you've just trained to reveal
Excellency.
all the potential resources in Basenji. By
Excellency,
exploring these sites, we can potentially uncover new resources for our economy. Another oil deposit. This is helpful. Not all resource nodes pan out, so sending surveyors across Basenji to check them all will be necessary. Let's build a new refinery on that oil deposit. Select one from the construction.
Excellency,
Construction, oil. I'm a little worried about doing this,
Excellency,
because this will probably end up with America
Now our
invading.
nation has 2 oil refineries. One is sending oil to our power plant. Perhaps we can sell the oil from this one to one of our neighbors. At least while we don't have a demand for plastics yet in Basenji. Click on the diplomacy menu.
Let me see. Oh, there we go.
Relations with those other nations we share a border with can be tricky. If we can maintain a strong, positive relationship, we can mutually prosper from expanding trade. If they grow to hate us too much, we may find ourselves in with them. Our relationship will depend greatly on their interests, which are not immediately known to us. Spending intelligence on research is one way to better understand these interests. In addition to their relationship with us, these neighboring states also have their own internal stability to be concerned about. A collapsing neighbor means lots of refugees seeking asylum in our borders, in addition to other challenges to manage. Take notice as well of the 3 major powers interested in influencing the future of the region. The United States of America, the Russian Federation, and the People's Republic of China. If any one of these powers sees us as a threat to their interests, we may find ourselves in a war we cannot possibly win. On the other hand, if we can eventually improve our relations to the point where an alliance is achieved, the others may leave us alone. Let's see if any of our neighbors happen to have an interest in Basenji crude oil. Once they're on the phone, select Negotiate Trade and click the Export tab. Then, make an offer to export oil.
Right, export oil. To be honest, I'm doing much talking here. Alright, that's the present. Negotiate trade, export oil. Excellent. Money coming in. Alright, and call. Alright, so this is an interesting one. You know, I didn't really know what to go in. I was a little bit worried it was going to be a little bit racist. But no, they seems to be fairly balanced. It's an interesting idea. Yes, I hope you're going to like, subscribe and come back. I'm interested to see where this goes. See you next time.